Welcome to a Mother's Day special. We have with us mother-daughter duo, Geeta and Sharanya Chandran. Thank you so much for joining us today on this very special interview where we're going to be talking about motherhood, self-care, mental well-being, and most importantly, how dance can connect with people and also give a very strong message. Thank you so much, Geeta ji and Sharanya, for joining us. How important do you think is the role of a mother or the motherly role in an artist's life?
I think the mother's role never stops. Initially, it's physically tending and doing all that. Then I think it's this whole thing of educating the child, of giving the best values that you can give to the child, and then of course mentoring them as they go along. Whether you need to say something at a particular time or not say something, these are things that you always kind of build a relationship. So I think the mother's role never finishes or ceases to be. She's always there for the child, and that comfort of mother being there is so important. So I think it's very, very important for you to give the child the confidence that you are there for them.
As an artist or even a mother, today you're a mother yourself, how important is that role of a mother? Which, like I think Geeta ji rightly said, it just never finishes.
I think it's constant teaching and learning, as I'm realizing from both ends now.
Yeah, because you're...
But I really feel that I am special because, and I'm very privileged because my mother is also my guru. So she plays this dual role of being not only my mother but also my guru. So it's a very special blessing and a relationship because she's a friend, she's a mentor, she's a guide, she's a co-choreographer. We share the stage together. I've done Natwangam for her, she's done Natwangam for me, and so it's really this very special bond that we have, and the colors and the nature and the relationship keeps changing based on different roles that we play. And it's a constant pleasure.
How do you look at it? Of course, your child is 3, is little young, but what all do you see that, when you come to your mothering your child, what would you take from your mother?
Yeah, I think the general discipline and just keeping to time and having ek shraddha honi chahiye, just having that kind of respect in general for everyone and the family, your peers, everything around you, just having that bit of the values that we always hold very dear to us. I think that's what I will try, and I'm trying very hard.
I think the gender thing is very important. I didn't have a son, so when she had a son, the first thing I said is, now I have a challenge in front of me, because I always believe that the mothers of male children have a great responsibility.
Greater, yeah.
Very, very great responsibility, because I think the women have moved much faster than the men, and the evolution and the sensitivity that is required, and to keep pace with the way women are moving ahead is very, very important. So I think that is something that we both are very sensitive about, that we need to create a person who is respectful of gender, of being inclusive. That is very important.
You have done a lot of performances when it comes to social issues. What were those issues, you closely feel about, which were relevant and they needed to be brought out through dance?
I think gender has been one thing, environment has been the other thing. I've handled stigma through dance. I've also recently done, not recently, maybe three years back, something from Jaina philosophy which talks about multiple realities. Anekanta was one of the philosophies in Jaina philosophy where they say that there are multiple truths and it's never absolute, nothing is absolute. So with time we change, our perspective changes. So I think we need to be much more, as I said, inclusive.
When you talk about inclusion, sanitation, of course, we've been talking about it is a very important aspect, especially for women, and unfortunately many women in our country don't have the basic right. So you've spoken about a lot about that everyone has a right to a clean toilet, but the person coming after you also has right to a clean toilet. It's a constructive right and duty. Can you tell us about this initiative which you started in 2018?
This was after traveling so much, the length and breadth of the country, and also traveling outside to other countries. One realized that we don't teach our children to use toilets. They might be from very privileged backgrounds, but they still don't know how to leave a toilet once you come out, and that the next person coming also, as I said, has the right to a clean toilet. So this is kind of worrying me as to we focus on so many other things. Why don't we focus on this very, very basic kind of a thing? I started with my own studio toilet, I started talking about it in every program of mine as well. Before I start a program, I would kind of say a message and leave it with the audience to kind of think about it.
Yeah. True, actually, that does make you think, because you think having a toilet, but what about the next person? Geeta ji, when we talk about gender bias, again, we did speak about women's health, sanitation, but menstruation is still a taboo in our country. Don't you think like there's a mix in some parts of our country? You really, you're celebrating menstruation, whereas in some places women are ostracized because they are menstruating.
Yes, of course. I come from Kerala, and I remember in my ancestral home there was a separate room for the women who would be having their periods, and the food used to be tossed like that to them, and from there now my family has moved, and how. So, I think there is a generational shift, of course, and films are also helping. The Padman, I think, was a great film to really to talk about it openly. Talking about it, discussing, and schools, I think, have a very important role to play, where the teachers have a very important role to play, and I think they need to kind of pitch in much, much more.
What would you like to tell the mothers of our country, that what are those little bit exercises, how could they take care of their mental well-being, or the journey of self-care?
I think dance is not really only a performative art. The process of dance is so enriching. An activity like dance is catharsis for some people. It is an aesthetic experience for some others. It is linking with our culture for some others. It's a communication tool for some others. So I think it's so many dimensions. For some it's a great spiritual exercise. So dance has so many different windows through which you can reach the process of dance. So because of that, I think dance keeps you happy. And being happy is the first thing that you need to take care of yourself. And during the lockdown, I think what we learned is activities like dance was what was keeping us, stopping us from going on a downward spiral. Because we were physically active, we were moving. People were not moving. People had become couch potatoes, just sitting in a place and working. And they couldn't run, children were not going to school. So I think dance really kept them active, kept them focused, and because of that mind and body coordination, I think they were much healthier.
A message for all the mothers out there, that how can they really take care of themselves, and also, prioritize their own health in this whole journey while being a great homemaker, a great person at work, in every aspect, but how can they really take care of themselves?
I think 1 hour for yourself. This is the mantra. 1 hour of something that you love doing, and the family has to respect that time. I think time is the essence. You need to keep that some time for yourself, to either read, to go for a walk, whatever, to dance, to sing, to even listen to music and just sit in a corner, and do nothing. Nothing time, what we take for children.
Me time.
Nothing, me time, nothing time for mothers. I think that's very, very important.
Thank you so much, Geeta ji. It was a pleasure speaking with you.